Wow! The fourth episode of the amazing digital circus gave us so much to think about. We discovered fascinating insights into the personalities of the main characters, what scares them, what they dream of, and even the challenges they face. For instance, Gangle shared something really striking with JAX'S while he was grounded. Yet, intriguingly, this episode barely mentioned abstraction, even though the characters behaved in ways that hinted at their real-life struggles. In today's video, let's dive into the hidden secrets of episode 4 and beyond, exploring the fears and dreams of the characters. And yes, we'll also speculate which character might be the next to abstract. Stick around. Things are about to get interesting. Let's begin with JAX'S. Out of all the characters, he seems closest to abstraction. Why? Well, abstracted characters often act odd, like they're losing their grip on reality. And JAX'S? His behavior shifts dramatically with each new episode. But here's the thing. By episode 4, his usual cruel, unprovoked antics seemed to fade. Instead, JAX'S acted almost friendly? Take the baseball scene at the start. When JAX'S accidentally broke Gangle's joyful mask, he claimed it was unintentional. Normally, you'd expect sarcasm or a mean joke, right? But here, he sounded sincere. This wasn't the JAX'S we were used to. Could this mean JAX'S is starting to change? Or is something deeper going on? Of course, there was one attempt at humor, like when JAX'S stuck Ragatha's head in the deep fryer. But even that felt off. The rest of the episode showed a much calmer, more subdued JAX'S. Could it be that beneath all the teasing lies a character with unresolved emotional trauma? I think so. It's possible JAX'S had a close friend, either in the real world or within the digital circus, who was abstracted or lost. If so, that loss could explain why JAX'S resorts to mean-spirited jokes. It's a coping mechanism, a way to distract himself from his pain. But this strategy can't last forever. When JAX'S started working at Spudsy's, his behavior shifted. Suddenly, he was faced with responsibilities that grounded him, reminding him of the real world. Deep down, JAX'S is terrified of being alone. Watching how Zubul and Gangle approached their work seemed to inspire JAX'S to follow suit. For the first time, he stopped running from his duties. Even when Gangle punished him with a strange, emotion reprogramming video, JAX'S didn't abstract. That's significant. It shows his resilience, his strength of character, even when he felt isolated. JAX'S isn't a bad person. He just struggles to express himself. In fact, he seems to long for connection and friendship with the others. His journey in the next episodes, particularly episode 6, will likely shape his future in the circus. Will he overcome his struggles, or will he spiral further? Only time will tell. Speaking of abstraction, let's rewind to earlier episodes. Remember when Pomni nearly abstracted in episode 2? Her dream showed her with an abstracted hand. Then, in episode 3, we learned that Kaufmo's wife had abstracted, revealing new facts about how glitches don't always infect others. Yet in episode 4, abstraction wasn't directly mentioned once. Isn't that curious? Even so, the characters behaved in ways that made me wonder, who's on the edge of abstraction now? Let's take a closer look. Episode 4's setting, a fast food restaurant, might seem harmless, but it's actually key. Unlike the circus's usual wild adventures, this environment felt strikingly realistic. According to psychology, when we're placed in familiar settings, we tend to revert to roles we've played before. And that's exactly what happened here. In the circus, the characters have developed quirky, protective habits to cope with their surroundings. But at Spudsy's, those defenses crumbled. Stress and unresolved psychological issues from their real lives resurfaced, leaving them vulnerable. Let's start with Gangle. Her behavior at Spudsy's was a big departure from the norm. She revealed that in real life, she had been a manager at a fast food restaurant. And guess what? She gave up her dream of becoming an artist for that job. That's heavy. This episode gave us a glimpse into Gangle's past and the root of her struggles. In real life, she tortured herself with long hours and relentless self-doubt. At Spudsy's, she projected her frustrations onto the others, treating them harshly, just as she once treated herself. Unsurprisingly, this didn't sit well with JAX'S or Ragatha, who openly admitted they found her annoying. Gangle's breakdown began when the restaurant's clock stopped working. Something as simple as a broken clock sent her spiraling, revealing just how fragile her mental state was. By the end of her shift, she was overwhelmed with resentment and helplessness. When Gangle stepped outside and removed her new mask, she screamed, venting all her pent-up emotions. In that moment, she teetered on the edge of abstraction. Thankfully, Pomni intervened, offering kind words that gave Gangle a brief reprieve. But the danger wasn't over. As night fell, Gangle's grip on reality wavered again, and it was only Pomni's continued support that saved her. Did you notice something interesting? Toward the end of the shift, the characters started talking about going home. It's as if they'd forgotten the digital circus was their true home, not the fast food world. This detail underscores just how much the realistic setting affected their minds. Gangle's usual issue is her inability to feel positive emotions, but here, the opposite happened. Her unbreakable mask of joy forced her to suppress her negative feelings, creating a new kind of inner conflict. When she finally discarded the mask, it felt liberating. At last, she could embrace her sadness. Still, Gangle's turmoil wasn't over. She wandered into the street, lost in thought, and was nearly hit by a truck. In a real-world scenario, this could have been fatal. Fortunately, Kane intervened, bringing her back to the circus for a debrief. Once again, Gangle was saved just in time. But Gangle wasn't the only one on the brink. Let's talk about Ragatha. At the start of the shift, Ragatha was her usual cheerful self, diligently handling her tasks. But everything changed when a splash of pink sauce hit her eye. This sauce had a strange, mind-altering effect, making Ragatha behave as if she were intoxicated. Under the sauce's influence, Ragatha dropped her usual filters. She blurted out her unvarnished thoughts, even hallucinating creepy versions of Gangle. Her sense of reality blurred, and she began recalling memories from her real life. Ragatha's honesty turned harsh. She called Zubul a grunch, criticized Gangle's management, and told JAX'S she hated him. Yet despite her behavior, the other characters didn't lash out. Instead, they showed patience and understanding, which ultimately kept Ragatha from spiraling further. By the end of her shift, she simply fell asleep, escaping the chaos. This episode hinted at a darker side to Ragatha's character, one we'll likely explore in episode 5. It's clear there's more to her story, and I, for one, can't wait to see what's revealed. So, what do you think about all of this? Who do you believe is closest to Abstraction? Could it be JAX'S with his hidden vulnerabilities? Gangle, as she struggles to balance her emotions? Or Ragatha, whose darker side is just beginning to emerge? Share your thoughts and theories in the comments. I'd love to hear them. And before you go, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel for more deep dives into the amazing digital circus. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.